Here are the top stories for today, January 15, 2021. President Rodrigo Duterte may still be the first person to be inoculated with Sinovac. The president insists he does not want to extend his term beyond 2022. The military is more than willing to help in arresting the 9 dismissed police in Jolo shooting. And a cacao farmer brings pride in the international arena. Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. The Interagency Task Force has approved the recommendation to extend travel restrictions to more than 30 countries until the end of the month. These countries include the United Kingdom, Denmark, Ireland, Japan, Australia, Israel, the Netherlands, the People's Republic of China, including Hong Kong, Special Administrative Region, Switzerland, France, Germany, Iceland, Italy, Lebanon, Singapore, Sweden, South Korea, South Africa, Canada, Spain, United States of America, Portugal, India, Finland, Norway, Jordan, Brazil, Austria, Pakistan, Jamaica, Luxembourg, and Oman. Travel restrictions are applicable to all travelers coming from or transiting through these countries. Malacanang raised the possibility that President Rodrigo Duterte may still be the first person to be inoculated with China's Sinovac COVID-19 vaccine. This, it says, will boost people's confidence in the preventive medication. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque earlier announced that the country has secured 25 million doses of Sinovac vaccine, with the first 50,000 doses expected to arrive in February.
Napakadaming beses na po sinabi ng Pangulo na willing siya pabakuna sa Chinese, sa Russian vaccine, at noong mga panahon na ngayon, to prove a point, nais niyang mauna. Hindi naman po out of the question na magpapauna siya magbabakuna kung talagang kinakailangan na palakasin yung kumpiyansa ng ating mga taong bayan. No? Pero ang mensahe niya kahapon, kaya nga po natin ginagamit ang kaban ng taong bayan, kinakailangan yung nakakaraming mga mahirap ang mauna na maisalba sa danger na magkasakit ng COVID-19. Wala talagang favoritism. Ang importante po, lahat ng bakuna na ating gagamitin, napatunayan na ng FDA na ligtas at epektibo. Ang pinag-uusapan lang po, aling bakuna ang makakarating sa lalong mabilis na panahon dito po sa Pilipinas.
A health expert advised the public to consider the efficacy of a COVID-19 vaccine not just to protect us from contracting COVID-19, but to prevent other severe diseases as well. Dr. Edsel Salvana of the Department of Health Technical Advisory Group said most people focus on the vaccine efficacy to prevent the disease in general. In a Facebook post, Dr. Salvana said vaccines are among the most effective healthcare interventions in the world, and even if the vaccine prevents 30 to 70% of the disease, it still decreases the risk of being admitted to the hospital. He said delaying vaccination to wait for a great vaccine will cost lives, especially among the most vulnerable. He further explained that the country needed to get the emergency use authorization so that the most vulnerable or at risk could already use the available vaccine, while those with less risk can wait for better vaccines or longer-term data. He said all these aspects are considered when a vaccine expert panel evaluates any vaccine. Malacanang said anti-COVID-19 vaccine called Sinovac were sold to the Philippines at a BFF or Best Friend Forever price. In a press briefing, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque rejected critics' claims that Sinovac vaccines were more expensive than Western brands. He said the China-made vaccine is ranked third from the most expensive brand and had a high efficacy rate among Indonesians.
I'm not at liberty, pero I can say, sa lahat po ng orderin natin, hindi po pinakamahal ang Sinovac. At I can assure you na bigyan po tayo ng presyo na uko lamang sa kanilang BFF. No? Hindi po pinakamahal ang Sinovac. Paninira lang po ng oposisyon yan. Kung napatunayang 91.25 effective po ang bakuna sa Indonesia, na kapwa Malay natin, baka ganun din po ang magiging resulta pag nagbakuna tayo dito sa Pilipinas.
Preparations of the logistical requirement for the arrival of anti-COVID-19 vaccines are underway. According to Vaccine Czar Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr., Pfizer and Sinovac vaccines are expected to arrive in the country next month. Galvez said the government will conduct a series of inspections next week to ensure the country's preparedness for vaccine deployment. He urged local government units to start preparing for the arrival of the vaccines and assure assistance for LGUs which cannot afford to procure vaccines for their constituents.
Kausap namin kahapon ang COVAX facility. May possibility po na February po na magdala po ang COVAX dito, WHO at saka UNICEF, ng Pfizer. And then ang Sinovac po ay darating din po ng February 20, 50,000 initially. And then dadagdagan po sila ng 950,000 sa susunod na buwan at 2 million sa susunod na mga buwan.
Quezon City Mayor Joy Belmonte said she sees no need to impose new lockdowns even as the UK COVID-19 variant has been detected in one of its residents. Belmonte assured city residents that they have already isolated the first patient confirmed to have been infected with the disease. She said the group who fetched him from the airport and brought him to the isolation facility were also immediately tested and isolated as well, including their driver. They have also tested all health workers who attended to the patient at the isolation facility. As an additional precautionary measure, Belmonte said they are also testing his immediate family, household, and had his female companion retested even though she already tested negative for COVID-19. Belmonte called on the public, especially city residents, not to believe false information and not to discriminate against residents of the said barangay. The government aims to vaccinate at least 60 million Filipinos in the next 3 to 5 years. Are you willing to take the coronavirus vaccine when it becomes available? Let's find out in our Boses ng Masa.
Siguro depende muna kasi hindi pa natin alam kung ano yung maunang ibabakuna nila eh. Kunwari, kung yung ibang mas mataas na LGU, yung mga mataas sa atin, kung papayag sila, payag na rin kami. Payag na rin ako.
Kasi naman, payag naman kasi para iwas COVID, di ba?
Sa akin naman, okay lang kung darating yung bakuna. Wala namang problema yun kasi pumasa naman yun sa siguro sa gobyerno. Okay lang sa akin, walang problema para safety tayo. Alam na kung saan tayo pumunta, hindi tayo makapitan ng COVID-19. Para sa akin, okay lang.
Para sa akin, kung magkakaroon ng bakuna, hindi ko sure kung papayag ako kasi una sa lahat, vaccine yan na aprobado na ng Food Administration. Para sa akin, hindi ko sure kasi kailangan mo na ng matibay na patunay. Mahirap na para sa kalusugan natin lahat.
Iloilo Province is boosting its COVID testing capacity with the help from the Philippine Red Cross. Meanwhile, Tarlac City creates a body for its COVID-19 vaccination plan. Here is our report.
A molecular laboratory was inaugurated in Pasig City in Iloilo this week, which can process 1,000 specimens a day with results available in 24 hours. With the help from the Philippine Red Cross, Iloilo Governor Arthur Defensor Jr. said they are now at the level which they wanted Panay to be in terms of testing capacity. He said in more practical terms, the molecular laboratory can help a lot when the province opens to leisure travelers. Philippine Red Cross Chair and Senator Richard Gordon said the laboratory can cover those from Aklan, Capiz, Antique, and even Guimaras. He said they have started the saliva-based COVID-19 testing on January 12, which they also plan to bring to Pasig City once the trial in Manila is completed. In Tarlac, the local government created a technical working group that will focus on the city government's vaccination program against COVID-19. Mayor Christy Angeles said the technical working group will draft plans and measures for the mass vaccination of the city residents against COVID-19. She said the city government will also launch an electronic immunization registry for those who want to avail the free COVID-19 vaccines. Meanwhile, Tacurong City has allotted 20 million pesos for the purchase of COVID-19 vaccines. Mayor Angelo Montilla said the fund will be allocated to provide free vaccines for the target population, such as the most vulnerable sectors and frontliners. Montilla said the local government would also ask for funding support from the provincial government. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Chris Crismundo.
Still to come, President Duterte believes more skyways are needed to get rid of traffic. And the president remains firm he does not want to extend his term beyond 2022. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Alamin kung paano ang tamang pagsusuot ng surgical mask. Una, hawakan ang mask sa strap at siguruhing natatakpan nito ang inyong bibig at ilong. Tandaan, ang may kulay na bahagi ng mask ang dapat nasa labas. Ito lamang ang tamang paraan ng pagsuot nito. Ihulma ang nose piece o maliit na metallic strip ayon sa hugis ng inyong ilong. Iwasan ang paghawak sa inyong ilong at bibig. Kung marumi na ang mask, hubarin ito gamit ang strap at itapon ito sa isang basurahan. Siguruhin ang maayos na paghuhugas ng kamay gamit ang sabon at tubig. Ang surgical mask ay dapat gamitin ng mga pasyenteng may sakit sa baga o mga taong mayroong ubo, sipon at lagnat, mga nag-aalaga sa mga may sakit, at mga healthcare at frontline workers. Maaari ring magsuot nito kung kayo ay pupunta sa matataong lugar. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
You're still watching the PNA Newsroom. President Rodrigo Duterte inaugurated on Thursday the third stage of the Metro Manila Skyway project, which was built to ease traffic congestion in Metro Manila. The 19-kilometer segment of the Skyway, which runs from Buendia in Makati to NLEX in Balintawak, was completed through the joint efforts of the Department of Public Works and Highways, Citra Central Expressway Corporation, and San Miguel Holdings. By connecting MMSS 3 with Skyway Stages 1 and 2, a continuous 35-kilometer elevated expressway now directly links Alabang with Balintawak. The project is expected to significantly contribute to a more efficient movement of goods and people from north to south and within Manila. It is expected to decongest traffic by as much as 55,000 vehicles daily and reduce travel time from Buendia to Balintawak from 2 hours to approximately 15 to 20 minutes. In a speech, President Duterte said he believed that the construction of more skyways would free Filipinos from the horrendous traffic situations in the country, particularly in Metro Manila. Duterte said travel would be easier for Filipinos as his government continues to pursue more infrastructure projects. He said the completion of the Skyway project is a testament to efficiency, reliability, and sustainability of his administration's Build, Build, Build infrastructure program. President Rodrigo Duterte said he does not want to extend his term in office beyond 2022, even if it is being offered on a silver platter. The details from Benj Bondok.
President Rodrigo Duterte, during the inauguration of the Metro Manila Skyway Stage 3 project, assured the public that he would not extend his term as the country's chief executive. This came amid concerns that the constitutional amendments are being pushed by Congress would extend the terms of incumbent officials, including lawmakers and the president. Duterte also maintained that he does not want his daughter to run for president in 2022 because it is not worth pursuing.
I hope that the next president would be as forceful and resolute to confront this almost evil practice of people going around the country naghahanap ng mga bidding, tapos paghati-hatian lang nila. Kaya ang mga proyekto natin, ang pera ng Pilipino, hindi sapat doon sa budgeted sa isang eskwelahan, because of corruption. Yan talaga ang totoo.
Apart from term extension, there has also been a growing clamor for a Duterte-Duterte tandem in the 2022 national elections. Duterte's allies, including Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo, are encouraging Davao City Mayor Inday Sara Duterte and her father to run for president and vice president respectively in the 2022 elections. Duterte, however, maintained that he does not want his daughter to run for president in 2022 because it is not worth pursuing.
And my daughter, iniudyok Manila, sabi ko, my daughter is not running. I have told Inday not to run kasi naaawa ako sa dadaanan niya na dinaanan ko. Hindi ito pambabae. Alam mo, the emotional setup of a woman and a man is totally different. Maging gago ka dito. So, that is the sad story.
Meanwhile, President Duterte congratulated DPWH Secretary Mark Villar for initiating a total revamp in his agency. Late last month, the president bared the names of 9 incumbent and former lawmakers allegedly involved in anomalous infrastructure projects. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Ben Shbondo.
The Department of Tourism, or DOT, slapped the City Garden Grand Hotel in Makati City with penalties following a probe into the death of flight attendant Christine Dacera inside its premises. The DOT said it found the hotel to have misrepresented itself to the public as being allowed to accept guests for leisure or staycations despite being a quarantine facility. The resolution imposed the City Garden Grand Hotel with a 6-month suspension, a fine of 10,000 pesos, and revocation of its certificate of authority to operate. The DOT reminds the public that there are only 15 establishments in Metro Manila that have been issued the certificate of authority to operate as staycation. It encouraged the public to report similar incidents that violate tourism rules and regulations to the DOT's Office of Tourism Standards and Regulations. Meanwhile, the National Capital Region Police denied claims made by some friends of Dacera that they were coerced and beaten by Makati police officers. On Wednesday, JP de la Serna and Romel Galido admitted that they lied about one of their friends, Mark Anthony Rosales, holding illegal drugs during the party with Dacera. Galido also retracted his statement that Dacera complained to him that Rosales spiked her drink. NCRPO Chief Brigadier General Vicente Danao said Dacera's friends have been saying their story on different social media platforms, but they did not mention anything about them being beaten. He added that perjury charges may be filed against the two. In our business news, an investment body expects the Philippine economy to bounce back into positive territory to 5.5 to 6.5% this year. First Metro Investment Corporation, the investment banking arm of the Metro Bank Group, attributed this to sustained government spending and the rollout of coronavirus vaccines. University of Asia and the Pacific economist Dr. Victor Abola said the expected increase of overseas remittances, government spending geared towards reset, rebound, and recover programs, and market reform initiatives such as Bayanihan 2 can support economic growth. Other factors boosting growth are the mild inflation rate of 2.7% and the completion of big-ticket projects, including the Metro Manila Subway and MRT-7. Abola said this year's economic growth will be driven by industry sector, construction and manufacturing, while services will suffer amid the impact of the pandemic on travel, hotels, and restaurants. Up next, the military is more than willing to help in arresting the 9 dismissed police in Jolo shooting. And a cacao farmer brings pride in the international arena. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Alamin ang tamang paraan ng pag-ubo upang mapigilan ang paglaganap ng Coronavirus Disease 2019. Ugaliing magdala ng panyo o tissue. Kung uubo o babahing, takpan ang buong ilong at bibig gamit ang panyo o tissue. Kung walang dalang panyo o tissue, maaaring gamitin ang braso na pantakip. Kung nakararamdam na kailangan umubo o bumahing, agad na dumistansya sa mga tao sa paligid. Huwag dumura kung saan-saan, gumamit ng tissue at itapon sa basurahan. Ugaliin ang paghuhugas ng kamay at paggamit ng alcohol o hand sanitizer upang mamatay ang mikrobyo. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
The military is willing to help the Philippine National Police arrest the 9 dismissed Jolo policemen implicated in the shooting of 4 Army intelligence operatives in June last year. Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana said, while disappointed with the PNP's decision to release the 9 due to the absence of an arrest warrant, he noted that the police just gave itself additional work in doing so. Lorenzana added that the PNP was forced to release these police officers as they were already dismissed from the service. Last week, a panel of prosecutors found probable cause to indict the 9 police officers for 4 counts of murder and planting of evidence. The panel also did not recommend bail for the accused. PNP Chief General de Bolsinas earlier approved the dismissal from service of the 9 police officers. The Police Regional Office in Central Luzon has extended cash and food assistance to 5 former rebels who recently surrendered in Aurora Province. Colonel Raul Sririban, Provincial Director of Aurora Police Provincial Office, presented the 5 surrenderers to PRO3 Regional Director Brigadier General Valeriano de Leon. 4 of them are former members of the Militiang Bayan Northern Platoon, and the other one is a former squad leader of Segunda North Platoon. Siriban said he is thankful for the decision of the former rebels to return to the fold of the law. De Leon, for his part, said the surrenderers are eligible for the Enhanced Comprehensive Local Integration Program of the government, or ECLIP. In a separate activity, the PRO3 distributed goods and hygiene kits to about 200 indigent families from the towns of Baler, San Luis, Dipaculao, and Maria Aurora. The Philippine Statistics Authority, or PSA, will open the registration process for the Philippine Identification System, or PHILSYS project to the general public starting January 18. Deputy National Statistician Rosalinda Bautista said the PSA will be rolling out the first phase of the PHILSYS registration in all provinces nationwide. At least 50 million Filipinos are targeted to be signed up by the end of 2021. The PSA has initially opened the registration centers for Step 2 processes in San Pablo City, Laguna. Around 200 registrants were already provided with a personal serial number. Bautista said the mass rollout for the Step 2 registration process might happen next month. Meanwhile, the PSA is preparing to register the overseas Filipino workers and the Filipinos residing abroad with dual citizenship. However, Bautista said the PSA is planning to conduct actual registration of OFWs by 2022, which will be happening abroad. In our foreign news, the U.S. House of Representatives voted Wednesday to impeach President Donald Trump, making him the first president in the United States history to be impeached twice. Trump was previously acquitted in February 2020 in his first impeachment after House Republicans uniformly rejected his ouster. Lawmakers voted to impeach Trump on a single article of incitement of insurrection for his role in last week's deadly siege of the Capitol. On January 6, Trump told a rally of his supporters outside the Capitol to fight as he repeated his claims that the November 3 presidential election was stolen. 5 people died when a mob of his supporters later besieged the U.S. Capitol building. Trump is the 3rd president in U.S. history to be impeached and possibly the first to be successfully tried should the Senate vote to convict him. In sports, Coach GUIAO admits that the chance that NLEX will acquire Vic Manuel from Alaska through a trade is small for now. Manuel recently requested to Aces coach Jeffrey Carriazo that he wants to be traded. The 6'4" forward confirmed that he listed the Road Warriors among his preferred trade destinations, along with the San Miguel Beermen and the Phoenix Fuel Masters. Manuel said he desires to join NLEX because he wants to be coached by GUIAO. He admitted that during the 2012 Philippine Basketball Association draft, he wished to be drafted by GUIAO's former team, Rain or Shine. GUIAO said he doesn't want to give up somebody like Vic Manuel, who will also be a big contributor to their cause. However, he clarified that he is not ruling the Warrior-Aces deal out yet. The Office of the Provincial Agriculturist in Negros Occidental has lauded Christopher Fadriga from Bago City, one of the representatives to the 2021 International Cacao Awards in Paris, France this coming October. Provincial Agriculturist Japhet Masculino said that Fadriga's Criollo variety has put Negros Occidental on the cacao production map. Fadriga, who hails from Barangay Atipuluan, was one of the 4 who received the 2021 Philippine Cacao Quality Award, or PCQA. Along with Davaoeños Arthur Lagok, Soledad Robillo, and Carlos Brasiculia, Fadriga will have the chance to showcase the quality of their produce in the international arena. 2021 PCQA Chair Charita Puentespina said the DA seeks to increase the awareness along the cacao value chain in the country on the opportunity to produce high-quality cacao. Here's another look at today's biggest stories. President Rodrigo Duterte may still be the first person to be inoculated with Sinovac. The president insists he does not want to extend his term beyond 2022. The military is more than willing to help in arresting the 9 dismissed police in Jolo shooting. And a cacao farmer brings pride in the international arena. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check more news content, visit our webpage or head onto the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also, watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, we tell stories that inspire change. I am William Theo. Good day and a very happy weekend to all.